By who?
Yeah.
I get that.
By
Who?
But by my Democrat friends.
Are you welcomed in the MAGA world?
Not exactly, because
So, I mean-
that's because
You black. Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Like a lot of you, I have been thoroughly confused by CNN panelist Melik Abdul.
I know a number of people who voted for Donald Trump for the first time. They were so disgusted than what they felt was happening in the Biden administration. I talked to many of them this week. Instead of talking about the economy, I was fielding questions on whether or not the Trump administration wanted to stop commemorating Black History Month, Women's History Month. Donald Trump appealing to these people in his second week when we're not talking about the economy. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about DEI, and he had no evidence, and people are out there defending it. I'm not going to get on television to defend it. I want Donald Trump to know you are making it hard for us.
We said you could be racist, but not that racist. That dog whistle was supposed to be set at 5. That was at 8. That's just too loud, Trump. Oh, no, wait. There's more. He can protect Trump a little harder.
I'm going to break rank right here. I was never a fan of the whole idea of Doge, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. I understand that many people on the right, and that's why I said I'm a 3-time Trump voter. So they're going to call me a rhino or whatever. I never thought that this was a good idea. And I think that Elon Musk, with some of the things that Elon Musk himself has done, lying about the budget, claiming that there is some money for a stadium in Washington, D.C., that just literally was not true. So I don't trust the guy. Just me. I don't trust Elon Musk. I wrote an article about him, about the problem with the GOP has with someone like Elon Musk.
There goes the Twitter account.
Literally, I just got my Twitter account back today because I was critical of Elon Musk, and I just was off of restriction today before I came into the show.
Free speech.
But
guess what? You're back on it tonight.
Yay for free speech.
I don't have a following. Nobody follows me. Trust me.
And if you thought that was bad, he had a lot more ammunition in the tank when it comes to protecting Trump.
My criticisms of Elon Musk are well known, and I know some people don't like that. But Elon Musk, some of the things that he's done, and Van, you actually made a good point, because he doesn't know how government works, and I'm not exactly sure Elon cares how government works because he wants to do his own thing. But when you think about what happened over the past couple of weeks where Elon Musk, and now we know that it was his decision to have OMB send out the memo saying, send us 5 things that you did last week. That was Elon Musk's thing. And we did see some cabinet officials. In fact, I think the majority of them said, no, don't respond to it at all. But then when he got into the meeting, and this is why I tell people, it's one thing to support the work of Doge, but it's another thing to focus on the distraction that Elon Musk often is when it comes to Donald Trump. So he got in the cabinet meeting, and it was Elon Musk who said, we really just sending this out because we just want a pulse check. Well, there are ways to figure out if people are at the other end, because the accusation is that there's nobody working at the other end of that email. There's ways to find out per agency. I'm sure most of us know there's a thing called read receipt.
In fact, he wrote a whole article, naturally in the Washington Examiner, noted progressive rag, the Washington Examiner. He wrote a whole article called The Elon Musk Problem. Now, I've talked about this a little bit when it comes to Steve Bannon, but it's worth rehashing right here. The mental gymnastics you have to do to divide Elon Musk from Donald Trump and make Elon Musk the problem. Do they look divided here?
Tesla. Going on now at the White House Tesla Auto Mall. It's the biggest sale of the year.
Very safe, it's very strong, heavy. It's all steel, stainless steel.
Come on down to Pennsylvania Avenue, just off Route 29, to get our best deal ever on a brand new Tesla.
I want to make a good deal here. They have one, which is $35,000.
Word.
which is pretty low.
Get a Model 1 with a different panel and everything's computer.
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
So don't waste your time going to those other Tesla dealerships with riots and flaming cyber trucks. You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
I love Tesla.
You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
This is really amazing.
Where I come from, when you bring somebody over to the house, you are accountable for their behavior. If your guest is out here putting his feet up on the furniture and refusing to take off a filthy black hat that he made at home and his long black trench coat, that lands with you. Yes, that lands with you. If his toddler disrespects me while I'm sitting in my chair, that lands with you. And by all means, if that happens to the man who you are idolizing and take to be the most powerful man in the free world, then that lands with y'all. But the more that I looked into Melik Abdul, the more confused I got. He wrote in the very same publication, SCOTUS, "Is there no room for black female justices?" President Trump officially announced Judge Amy Coney Barrett as his nominee to replace the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. If confirmed, she will not only become the sole conservative female justice, Barrett will also make history as the first mother of school-aged children to sit on the high court. There'll be plenty of heated debate over her credentials and to what extent positions held by those on both sides of the political aisle have completely changed from what they were in 2016 when then President Barack Obama nominated Judge Merrick Garland. But one thing still remaining true is when it comes to appointments to the Supreme Court, black women are still nowhere to be found. Now wasn't there a president who nominated a black woman to the court? But not only that, he nominated a historic number of black women to judicial appointments all across the country. What was it? It just escapes me. And then there's this one, the politics of police reform. The verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial on the death of George Floyd had Minneapolis and the nation on edge. But despite the guilty verdict in this single case, the larger matter of police reform remains unfinished in President Biden's initial legislative push. The White House is focused on passing the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, having abandoned the 2020 campaign promise to stand up to a police oversight commission. This makes sense, but political posturing by both parties has gotten in the way of passing any meaningful legislation, and Republicans, surprisingly, may be backing the reform plan more likely to become law. So naturally, if that's how you feel, at the point when he starts to float out immunity for all police officers and freezes the civil rights division of the Department of Justice, that certainly would be a come to Jesus moment for you now, wouldn't it?
I swear. Y'all just really go have these people, these conservatives screaming at me, because my larger problem is the attacks on the federal government worker. As if, for one, they don't pay taxes, and that they're not voters. Like there's this characterization of federal government workers as lazy. So all of this is kind of built into that. And what I would like for the Trump administration to do, even in explaining, this whole transparency argument, is to do an assessment of what it is that you need. I am very skeptical that they've been able to do an assessment to see what they need at these agencies before just, as we get 300 here, there's another 400 here, because there is an impact to that. And so what I want to hear from the Trump administration is we've covered all our bases, and it seems here, at least with this particular story, that they didn't.
Hello, Black Maga? Yeah, I'm here to turn in a mole. Yeah, Melik Abdul, he not Black Maga. Now you should see what he said about police reform, and then talking about black women being nominated to the court, and now he want to defend federal workers. And you won't believe what he said about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Who wants to take this? Malik?
I've said it before about the men in Congress, both Democrat and Republican, when they did this, that this is the real hood rats of Congress. And I think that we saw a similar thing on yesterday. I've always said that MTG is ghetto. And she showed that on yesterday. And I think Representative Crockett, I'm surprised you didn't actually play with Representative Crockett, her response. And in that regard, after MTG talked about her eyelashes, she crapped a whip on MTG.
No, he called her ghetto. He not only did he call her ghetto, there was a Latina and a black woman involved in the situation, and he didn't use hood rat on neither one of them. I know that's a violation of Black Maga. I know. That's why I'm calling you. And by the way, I can't just let this go. I cannot let this go. Obviously, I was not watching News Nation when B6 happened to see how they reported on it. But apparently, AOC and MTG clash over fake eyelashes insult was the way it was framed, and they ended it before Jasmine Crockett said a word. They apparently reported on this entire story without B6. They reported on B6 without B6.
If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
That's like ending Shawshank with Andy and them still in jail. That would be like ending 42 with Jackie Robinson still in the Negro Leagues. Like that was a really good Negro Leagues retrospective they did about Jackie Robinson. I wonder what happened to him.
If we are issuing pardons, however, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. It would be incredibly controversial, but I think that it's absolutely necessary. That person is Derek Chauvin.
Wrong. Melik Abdul, in response, says chances are Ben doesn't even remember when Trump, Bongino, and a host of other Republicans came out condemning the death of George Floyd, but this proposal isn't meant to be taken seriously. It's engagement farming specifically designed to stoke racial tensions. And by the way, he wasn't done calling out the Black Maga sphere.
There is absolutely nothing beneficial that...
Is that Rob Smith? Okay, I didn't recognize him without a tank top. And that black woman hate he wears around his neck.
Pardoning Chauvin would do for the Trump administration, for this country, for race relations, for anybody else. It is absolutely destructive. It makes no sense. And so for me, when I first saw this, generally conversations that happen come from the ground up. Usually there's some sort of murmuring under, and then it kind of like bubbles up, and then it becomes a national conversation. This seems to be a very top-down conversation that comes from somebody with an enormous amount of influence. This is nothing that anybody was talking about or thinking about. So it really makes me question, why is this conversation happening right now? It makes me question, why did Ben Shapiro want to start this conversation right now? Who does this benefit? Doesn't benefit Trump, doesn't benefit America, doesn't benefit race relations, it doesn't benefit anything. And the last point I'll make on it is this. There are very few people that can actually really speak to in depth what was going on in that trial, how George Floyd actually died, et cetera, et cetera. There's probably 5 people that have, spent the bulk of their day on a podcast set every single day, like Ben Shapiro, like maybe 2 or 3 other people that can really talk to you in depth about this. So then they're positioning themselves to say, no, listen to me. I'm the one who really knows about this. So what? Trump's agenda is supposed to be derailed. Where we're at as a country right now is supposed to be derailed because these leftists and these Democrats are looking for a reason to have another race war. That is what they love. So why this conversation is happening right now, I have no idea.
So you're not for it at all?
No, I am not.
Now, Rob Smith said pardoning Derek Chauvin is a terrible idea. It does nothing for Trump's agenda. It will cause racial strife in America, an idea so toxic and destructive, I don't know what Ben Shapiro is thinking. However, if you listen to what he said, he talked about it coming from the top down. We've seen it get the endorsement from the very top, from Elon Musk himself. Why don't you just call a thing and name names, Rob Smith? I thought you can't cancel Rob Smith. You afraid of being canceled, ain't you? You afraid of being canceled. We all know that was Elon Musk who endorsed that on his very platform. And while we're talking about the top down, who else is up there who you might be trying to protect from taking ownership over this very thing? Exactly. Y'all ain't slick, Black Maga. Y'all ain't slick. And then try to turn it at the end and say the left is waiting. The left is just waiting for a race war. As communicated by Ben Shapiro? Is that we're using Ben Shapiro to do that? But back to the issue at hand. Melik Abdul says Ben's goal here is to amplify race wars. Chauvin murdered a man and should never be pardoned or have his sentence commuted. The DOJ and our armed forces medical examiner agreed that asphyxiation that restricted his respiration caused his death. Woo! So Black Maga. Black Maga's having a tough time. I knew we started with them having a tough time over the DEI, but I was wondering when they was going to weigh in on this Derek Chauvin stuff. Yeah, Black Maga. Yeah, you picked me into a corner. Now, didn't you?
Just customer service. At times, you can't. Here's what's upsetting to me, Heather, is if I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily wholesome. It creates resentment, doesn't it, Heather? This is not a way to design society.
Says Melik Abdul, despite white women being the largest beneficiaries of affirmative action, woke right activist Charlie Clerk, I don't know if he sat on the keyboard or if he actually meant clerk, doubles down on his suggestion that black people aren't hired for merit-based reasons. So if you're scoring at home, you have the same black conservative who regularly appears on CNN, who talks about the Elon Musk problem, who defends federal workers, who wants black women on the Supreme Court, who's talking about police reform, who's talking about the nonsense of the potential Derek Chauvin pardon to stoke racial tensions. This same guy who calls out not only the Trump administration, but Charlie Kirk over their rhetoric around DEI. How did this man end up in Black Maga?
Malik, okay, so you used to be an Obama bro. And then you went to where?
Bernie.
And then you went?
Trump.
Okay, explain. How did this happen?
Needs explanation.
Yeah, so, I was a lifetime Democrat, probably the only Republican that I know of in my family, but I was a lifelong Democrat.
And you are, just for the record, you're from Mississippi.
Mississippi, from the great Magnolia State.
A black person from Mississippi, which means you were a Democrat.
Yeah, longtime Democrat up until 2016.
And you know what? Why don't we just take a look at the Republicans in Mississippi? These are the people that he grew up with and looking at and around, who he now finds himself in bed with.
This is Mississippi, and there's no real delicate way to put this. It's the worst state economy within the USA. Mississippi has the lowest GDP per capita of all the states, one of the lowest labour force participation rates, the highest rate of poverty, and one of the slowest rates of growth within the largest economy in the world. It's not just headline economic figures that paint a bad picture either. These statistics translate to very real quality of life problems in the state as well. Mississippi has one of the lowest life expectancies and overall human development levels anywhere in the US. The average person from Mississippi lives 5 years less and makes almost half as much as the average US citizen. Now, in any group there are going to be those that rank well and those that rank poorly, and a group of states that make up the USA is no different. But the economic challenges of Mississippi are all the more interesting when it's considered that this state used to be the richest in the nation. From first to last, even within an economy like the USA, would be like Luxembourg trading places in the EU with Moldova.
I had said that if the Democratic Party nominated Hillary Clinton, because I was against Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all of that era of Democrats, I said that I was going to leave the Democratic Party. I was like,
Instead of personality.
Oh, a number of things.
Because they weren't far left enough for you.
Oh, no.
No, the Clintons are terrible. I'm with you. I'm with you so far.
I'm with you so
far.
far. Problem with Hillary that Hillary alone would make you leave the Democratic Party?
I still don't. I didn't like what the Clintons represented when it came to the Democratic Party. I thought that there were too many people beholden to the Clintons, and I did not like the era of Clintons. I did not like Hillary Clinton talking about super predators. I didn't like none of that stuff. But so I left the Democratic Party. I said that, and in fact, believe it or not, I started thinking that I was going to vote for Jeb Bush because I said, if they nominate Hillary, I'll just switch over and vote for Jeb Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay.
Well, Jeb Bush so far.
Well, Jeb Bush got out.
Yeah.
I think
Jeb
probably,
exclamation point.
maybe
flames,
in January.
Yeah. Yep.
Who mans is this? Who mans?
So
of that year.
Let me ask you. Okay, so there's Bernie. You went to Bernie.
Yep.
Why not Trump at that time?
Well, because I was still a Democrat. I said myself, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm still a Democrat, and to be honest,
What are the Democratic principles that you liked?
A number of. You know what? I'll say this. Until I became a Republican, I realized that I was, like many people, you're a product of your environment. So I grew up around Democrats. I just became a Democrat. I didn't know why I became a Democrat. I just became a Democrat.
So there were no Democratic principles that you...
Well, I guess maybe the other question is...
There had to have been some Democratic principles because you needed to object to something by virtue of what you just said about the Clintons. I'm just trying to figure out what those principles were you objected to and the Democratic Party that coincided with Trump. Not just in 2016, but in 2020 and in 2024.
Did you become more conservative, or were you always conservative?
What I realized in 2016 that I had conservative principles that I just suppressed.
Sure.
Because that's not the Democrat thing to do. So even as a Democrat, when I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm pro-choice. Okay. And people were around me like, well, you can't be a Democrat then.
But my question to you as a lifelong conservative and someone who, deeply believes in the principles of conservatism, what drew you to Trump? Because he's not conservative at all, not personally, and his policies, like protectionism and skyrocketing the debt and America First, none of that's conservative. So what drew you to Trump from a position of identifying as a conservative at that time?
Well, I didn't look at Trump as a conservative. Like he wasn't. When I think of conservative Republicans,
he's not.
I look at people like one of my favorite, Condoleezza Rice.
Sure.
As I continue
Mitt
to say,
Romney, John McCain, right?
Not John McCain, but
What?
not Mitt Romney. But,
What?
Well, I'm giving you my.
Who's your version of conservative?
I'm telling you.
Wait, you're saying John McCain?
Talk to him. Talk to him. Somebody better get him. Somebody better get him.
I'm telling you.
Wait, you're saying John McCain is not conservative?
No. When I was a Democrat,
a conservative that you would like, not
right.
that
When
he's
I
not
was a Democrat,
conservative.
there are
personalities. Because I hear policies.
Because I haven't been allowed to get to that point.
Fair enough.
When I was a Democrat, I looked at people like GW. I looked at people like Condoleezza Rice.
Yep.
Those are people that I said, I like, whether they were conservative, Republican, it really didn't matter. I like them.
Yeah, they were
Now,
great.
there were a number of things. It wasn't just personality. There were a number of other things. Now, people attack George, G.W. Bush. Remember, Kanye West said, that he was racist.
I know we not saying he like Condoleezza Rice because of personalities. I can't go with you there. I'm sorry. We're not doing that. Nah. I got a whole promo video I recorded all about Condoleezza Rice when she was on The View. Nah, we're not doing that.
I started looking at those type of things, even in how we look at race. And that's how, during the Obama administration, I was one of those who, and I will admit, I had a lot of unfair expectations of Barack Obama as a black president. There were many things that I assumed, we got a black president now, so we about to be good up in here. And I realized that was just unfair to Barack Obama. But when I started looking at some of the actual policies, I realized, you know what? I like to keep more money in my pocket.
That all makes total
talk
sense. That makes total sense. And I had the same sort of awakening. I was younger. It happened at 16, 17. But I had the same thing. I thought I was a Democrat. I started questioning their policies. I really started identifying with conservative policies. Trump is so repulsive. I don't mean personally. I mean politically.
No, you mean personally. You mean personally. It could be both. It's not. They're not mutually exclusive. You could do both. Yeah. As many as you can circle as many boxes as apply.
Trump is so repulsive. I don't mean personally. I mean politically to conservatism. I don't understand how you could, having identified your new level of conservative policies, embrace a Trump.
Well, Donald Trump was the default. By that point, Donald Trump was
He's what we
already.
had.
That's literally what
Was
had.
it? I mean, the Bernie to Trump move, was it populism?
It was. I actually
To a
saw. To a degree, I saw in Trump some of the things that I saw in Bernie. Bernie was a guy who was willing to go against the grain. He was
Disruptor.
unorthodox, and most
Still
of
no
all,
policy. You've mentioned no policy this entire time.
Well,
all personality.
Somebody better talk to him. You better talk. Come get him. Come get him.
So are we talking about liberal policies or conservative policies?
Well, I mean, we've tried to talk to you about liberal policies that attracted you, conservative policies.
Well,
You
he said
mentioned no
he'd like to
personality.
keep more of his money. That's
Okay.
That's policy.
We talked about abortion. I mean, there are a number of things.
Yeah, I mean, those are
I don't,
policies.
I'm not the person, checks off all the conservative boxes in the same way that I never checked off the progressive boxes. The problem is that I was made to feel unwelcomed in the Democratic Party when I'm
for
talking
purity
about
tests.
But
Yeah, of
by
course.
who?
Yeah.
I get that.
Who?
But by my Democrat friends.
Are you welcomed in the MAGA world?
Not exactly, because
So, I mean-
that's because
You black. You black. That's yeah, you black. That's we know that. Yeah, we saw that. We saw that on Black History Month. Yeah, when they did the they had the Chitlin Circuit night, and they bring everybody in. Yeah. But that's we know.
friends.
Are you welcomed in the MAGA world?
Not exactly, because
So, I mean-
that's because I am
You're
willing
black.
to be
It's
critical.
because you're black.
No.
Oh no, they love that.
No.
Oh, he actually wins. You know what? I'm gonna watch the. I'm gonna be quiet and watch the movie.
Democrat friends.
Are you welcomed in the MAGA world?
Not exactly, because
So, I mean-
that's because I am
You're
willing
black.
to be
It's
critical.
because you're black.
No.
Oh no, they
No,
love that.
no, it is.
They
It
love
is.
that. It's because
It
you're
is because
critical.
I'm black.
It's because you are critical from time to time.
It is
Black
because
MAGA
Yes, they do.
I'm not, so associated with MAGA because I am willing to be critical.
Yeah.
Now, Abby does raise a good point. MAGA does love a black MAGA Republican if you wear the hat and you have the Blue Lives Matter. If you the Officer Tatum starter pack, if you walk around with the Officer Tatum starter pack, they will love you. That is true.
Not just of the MAGA movement, of Republicans, of Donald Trump, or conservatives. So I don't fit so neatly in the MAGA box.
I totally dig. I think people try to get forced into sort of you're either on team A, team B. It doesn't reflect the way most people feel or think about politics. But I just want to make sure I'm tracking this because it's totally fascinating.
It is.
Okay, so you are a Democrat by default, and you don't like the Clintons. And you, at the same time, you're saying, you know what? I got some things that are pretty conservative about me. So typically you'd be like, maybe I'm more of a centrist Democrat and I'm going to be a swing voter. But no, you think Bernie's the guy. So you're going Bernie, and he's hard left by most objective standards. So you reject the Clintons, who are centrist Democrats, and you go to Bernie Sanders. And then, after Bernie Sanders doesn't win the 16 primary, you say, nope, Trump's my guy. So I'm trying to just figure out, because the horseshoe theory of it is pretty powerful right now.
But you're mapping it
jabbing.
ideological.
I'm just trying to lay it out.
Ideological. It's personality.
But
Is
it's
it,
not
though?
personality.
We still waiting on policy, bruh. We still waiting on policy because I just outlined the litany of ways this doesn't make any sense out of your own mouth. But when we give you the floor to lay it out, you cannot.
Well, I mean, it's okay.
You can personality is definitely
You do like Trump. You did like Bernie.
Personality is definitely part of it, and that's what any politician.
I was
don't
going to
care
say, there's
who
nothing. I would say that you don't have to shy away from the
Yeah,
personality
I
bit
don't.
because actually, when you really think about it, I think that what's interesting about this is just that a lot of Americans approach politics exactly the way they
Think
do.
of-
It's like, I like this guy. I identify with him.
I always branded myself during the Obama years, because you're talking about, I supported Barack Obama before he even announced. This is back when many people, especially in the black community, were still supporting Hillary Clinton. It wasn't Barack Obama's policies. It wasn't Barack Obama's ideology. To your point about personality, it was Barack Obama's personality, because he made me believe. He made me feel.
Well, that's powerful. I get that.
That's exactly what Bernie did. Bernie made me feel.
Got it.
And that's the thing with, and Donald Trump, you don't have to like everything about him, but Donald Trump he made me feel. And that is something that's important.
What does he make you feel?
Well, it depends on the day, but I believe him. So when Donald Trump says he's going to do something, I believe him.
You're here at CNN and you hear all the many fact checks and all the lies, and you believe
I don't care if
it
it was CNN, Fox, MSNBC, or any show. Which is why I'm able to be critical of Donald Trump.
Now, that was a very long way of saying I'm a front runner. That's all. He went from Obama to Bernie to Trump. I'm sure you are the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Yankees. I mean, that is the kind of Black Maga that you are. Now, the reason why you don't fit is not only the litany of things that I've outlined that make you align far more with people to the left of you, but the reception that you get when you express your honest opinion. How have they been received? Wait a minute. Let me look at that profile photo one more time. That ain't even from us. I need to get a judgment. I need to get a ruling on that one. I don't. Are we okay with that? Let's go to the next one. Just what I thought. Now, that was simultaneously completely nonsensical and the best justification I've ever heard for a Black Maga. Like they both, it was nonsense. He tried. Yeah, give him the Bart Simpson cake. He tried. Because a lot of them don't even bother to even try. I will also give him credit for calling out Black conservatives when necessary, like this one here. Do you see what he said about Laverne Spicer? First, what she said, I know all the white folks want to tweet it but can't, so my black ass will say it. Al Green looks like a whole ass monkey who scratch his damn ass and sling S in a cage all day. Hey, fire up another video. No, fire up another Black Maga video. Yeah, Laverne Spicer. Yeah. Oh no, we going in. I'm not going to get no, Malik, you can chill. I got this one. Hey, if you're watching this, it means we did it. We hit the number. No, not that kind of number. But I do want to thank you for allowing me to get to such a momentous milestone of 400,000 subscribers. It has been your shares, your emails, your comments, just watching and supporting the channel that way that has allowed us to get to this point, and it has been invaluable. And I just hope moving forward that I can rise to the level that warrants such an accolade. But in the meantime, we're gonna celebrate. You know how we do.
There's nothing wrong.
And what are you going to say to your fans when they ask you some questions about it?
I'm going to say I feel good.
We have a bunch of new merch that we're going to roll out. You can check out all the new stuff at reesewaters.com, which includes a new logo, by the way, so be on the lookout for that. And speaking of merch, I have some members discounts that will be coming your way. So to all of you members, be on the lookout for that. Or if you would like to join and get that discount, you can find a link in the description box to all of my videos. And every time we reach a milestone, we always got to have a party. We got to have a party. So be on the lookout for the members live celebration. I'm going to put a poll out on the community tab as I usually do to see what time works best for you guys. So check that out. In the meantime, I once again want to say thank you.
You didn't close the door. You didn't turn off the lights. You decided to come on and go with me and head on over to my place. Love, TKO.